So good morning, everyone. Welcome to San Francisco AI Technology Meetup Group. So in this Meetup group, we are going to look at ChatGPT. So at the moment, ChatGPT took over the world with a lot of interest on a lot of fields, not only IT, for other industries. So a lot of industries it impacting, and we can get a lot of flexibility and support, especially it can improve the productivity. So there's a lot of interest all over the world. So we were doing this session in a lot of regions and a lot of interest among every region in the world with ChatGPT because it can tackle a lot of challenges or the problems that we had in the industry. So with the ChatGPT now there are a lot of rise of lot of new AI tools. So ChatGPT, because of ChatGPT now we can see Google Bard and other AI tools that coming into the marketplace. So now we can leverage these AI tools to get our productivity increase. So in this session is focused on ChatGPT, but keep engaged to our Meetup group to look out for other sessions. So we keep sharing other Meetup groups with the other interesting startups, companies, and universities. So we have a lot of collaboration with other partners. So you can engage our Meetup group to keep up to date with upcoming session. So today's session all about ChatGPT. I think by now all of you working on the ChatGPT and some of you may be beginners to ChatGPT. So this session will be really helpful for you to get started with the ChatGPT and how you can leverage the ChatGPT of your day-to-day work. So this session is focused tips and tricks in a practical scenarios, and we are going to look at several industries, how it can impact it. So we had over real interest for this topic, over 400, close to 500 registration, and we have reached close to 100 in the Zoom session as well. So thank you all for joining and sharing interest about ChatGPT. So in this session, we are going to look at a couple of aspects. We are starting with the very basic, how you can get started with ChatGPT, and then we are going into fundamentals and use cases. So we are going to look at different industries. You may come from IT or marketing or engineering. So different industries, how we can leverage ChatGPT. And then we are going to look at more technical side of things toward the end of the session. So we are going to look at how this kind of tool can be developed using AI technologies at the moment. So toward the end of the session, it will be more technical. If you are data scientists or Python engineers, it will be more valuable. But starting of the session, it will be more general, where we look at how you can get started with ChatGPT. I think by now everyone having a ChatGPT. If not, you can log into this website, which is called chat.openai.com, which is initially introduced by Elon Musk, and now we have different founders, and Microsoft recently invested billions of dollars into this, and now we can see a lot of services through Microsoft also. Ultimately, we cannot see exact future. It's depend on these companies. But at the moment, OpenAI owns the ChatGPT, and we can see all the capabilities with the OpenAI. And there are a lot of improvements over the years. And there's mainly two versions, free version and the subscription version. So you can use the free version with some limitation, with especially the time limitations like bandwidth limitation, as well as some feature limitations. But there's a subscription available where you can get all the features also for at the moment around $20. Still, yeah, $20 per month. You can get that. So let's get started from the beginning. So thank you all for joining again for this session. Okay, so ChatGPT is a language model, we call as large language model. What it can do is it can analyze the certain context of the language, and it can provide more summarization or insight of the language. So before ChatGPT also we had these tools, right? So ChatGPT is not the first tool that did this. But what happened was when ChatGPT released last year, millions of people entering their prompt, that means asking question from ChatGPT. So that becomes the improvement of the ChatGPT. So that's the real improvement that AI tools need to have. Because if you have a lot of user base, you can increase the efficiency of the AI tool itself. So At the moment, yeah, it's mostly English, and also it supports a lot of my standard main languages. So I will show other ways that we can leverage other language, but it's mostly English at the moment for a lot of these AI tools because it requires a lot of intermediate features and context. But if you any come to translation and things like that, we can get other languages as well. Yeah, so we can translate and we can communicate with other languages as well. So you can see all the main standard language, we have the support in that, right? So main thing, the popularity for the ChatGPT was the lot of user base. So there were millions of users at the early stage using the product. So because of that, it improved itself. If you ask question at the early stage, you can see it was not that good, right? If you try ChatGPT last year, December, you can see it shows the answers, but the answer you are getting is not improved. So that's why when the more people are trying to enter, more results is get improved. So that's why ultimately now we have improvement. So now we can see a lot of improvement. So now we have a lot of plugins because ChatGPT have this plugin concept where we can apply more capabilities. So where it have a language plugins and can connect to other integrations as well through the integrations where we can connect with a lot of other tools and technologies. So first we'll get started with the foundation, like what are the use cases, how we can ask the proper question. So here, the first thing is that we need to ask it properly, like the way the ChatGPT can answer, right? We call this as prompt engineering. So the way you ask is really matters to get the exact information that you need, right? Because always that information is there, but in Google, what we used to enter is a keyword, right? So we used to enter a keyword and little bit like a question. But here there's a certain kind of a format. It's not like a programming syntax, but the way you ask based on that, there's a certain response. So in the use cases, I will show exactly the explanation and how you can get the answer regarding to that, right? So ChatGPT is different from a traditional bot because in a traditional bot, you have a conversation. So I think you have worked on traditional bots. Like you can ask hi, hello, like conversation. So ChatGPT doesn't have this conversational element. In a traditional bot or chatbot, we had this conversational element where we can have a conversation. So ChatGPT doesn't ask us, how are you doing? What can I do for you? Not things like that. It's all question and answer kind of a format. So we can ask certain question and there's an answer. And there's a chain kind of a prompt as well, where we can ask a question, we can get the answer, then the next answer could be the question for the second part, right? So that can also possible in ChatGPT, but it doesn't have a conversational element. So the traditional bot application, maybe you have experience in like websites, have this conversational approach. But ChatGPT doesn't contain this conversational approach. So they have put a lot of policies and regulations among that chatbot. So that's why earlier, a couple of years ago, Microsoft also tried to do a similar project, but then people try to put it with negative comments and things like that. Then it's going into the more negative side, right? So ChatGPT doesn't allow that by default. They have put some protocols and certain kind of rules within that. So because of that, you cannot ask negative things and it's not going to train on negative content, right? So there are certain kind of rules they have put in place to make sure that it's only answers with the respective questions and they only get the issues from that, right? And in the information extraction side, there's a limitation. Now the current latest version, they are trying to fix that because ChatGPT cannot by default get the content from the website. So that's why it's trying to get the content. At the moment is up to September 2021. But now the latest version of the beta version, if you have a subscription, you can check where you can get, it can refer the internet and get the content and it can learn about that and then update you with the detail, right? Earlier, like few months ago, we didn't have that feature, but now it have at the beta version. So in the subscription members can access that, still not available for free members. where it can access the web real time and get the content, because at the moment, by default, it's not going to access the web and get the information. It have a learning model or the language model. So the language model containing a knowledge part, the actual knowledge about the particular thing, and the language component, right? So later I will explain in more detail. So there's a knowledge part as well as a language part. So from that, it's going to provide you with the answer. So let's look at case by case. Then you can see how you can ask a question and then how you can get that answer. So we look at how we can have for the different industries. So main point takeaway from this session is how you can leverage ChatGPT in your industry. Let's say you are IT professional. Let's say you are marketing expert working in the marketing industry. When you're working on any other industry where you have to work on a lot of project proposals. So then how you can leverage ChatGPT at your work to make more productivity, because that is what we need to do more work, right? So if you're productive at your work, then you can do more work in a shorter time, right? At the time, of course, it can impact number of people need for that task as well. But one person can do more tasks. Let's say you have to write a project proposal. Usually take let's say 1 week, but with ChatGPT now can be done in 2 days or 1 day, even less than that. So that's why your productivity improve, because it's good as you are putting the effort for 1 week, it's good as that, right? So that is how the productivity improves with these AI tools. So where we can improve your productivity, ultimately you can improve. So with your 1 week, you can do more things now than just putting effort for a one task. So that is what the ChatGPT does in the professional side. So that is what we are highlighting in the this particular session, how we can leverage ChatGPT for industries and the productivity, how you can improve your productivity in different industries. So first one, I'm going to highlight first use case, which is IT industry. So IT industry also, first example is a IT administrator. So you know, IT administrator is a person that works on a lot of command line tools. You know, IT administrator need to maintain servers, data centers, a lot of commands. So in that commands, IT administrator need to work with mostly Linux commands. So Linux commands is one of the main set of commands that IT administrators day-to-day works in. So they have to remember these Linux commands, how to leverage this Linux command. So that's why it's really important to IT administrator remember that and apply for the situation. Now with ChatGPT, their work can be much effective and much productive. How? Let's see an example. So here you can see, you can ask the ChatGPT about a scenario. I want to act as a Linux terminal, right? I want to act as a Linux terminal. I will type the command, will reply what terminal should show. So likewise, you can just explain the scenario, right? You can explain the scenario you want, and you can ask the command from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT will provide the command, right? So you can just explain the scenario that you want. What's your problem that you are going to solve in the IT administration, the scenario, right? Then once you explain the scenario, you can see, you can get the respective command on that. So your work as IT administrator will be efficient, right? Because you don't need to without this, what we have Google and we have the experience. So we have to Google it and we need to see that information. So Google may have article, it may not have article. Then if we not have article, we need to scroll through references and books and all these materials to somehow figure it out the particular command. So it could take 1 hour, 1 day, even 1 week, depend on the complexity. But here you can see, you can ask ChatGPT about that question and it can provide the answer, right? Still, I'm not saying all the 100% of your question can be answers, but at least 80%, 90% of your question and the scenarios can be answered with the ChatGPT. And every day is keep improving. Why? More people ask questions, right? More people is providing their data sets into the AI tool. So the AI tool itself is improving day by day. So that is the main advantage in AI tools. More use, it will improve. It's not going to decrease anymore, right? So this is one scenario that is helpful for IT administrators. So if you're IT administrator, you can see, you might not need to remember all the things. you can use day-to-day ChatGPT for bringing these things much easier. Then for programmers. So programmers, the main challenge is writing the correct code, fixing errors, we call as debugging. So if you're having a programming bug or programming error, how you can fix that? So ChatGPT now supports almost all the programming languages. So you can ask your question. You can ask to solve that question, not the entire solution, just the part of that code block. It could be a certain class or certain section of the code. So you can enter the ask the code problem, then ask to solve that. So ChatGPT can solve that problem. So let's look at example. So here you can see find the bug in the following code. So here you can enter like this. So the way you enter really matters. That also what I want to highlight, because this is called prompt engineering. So where you ask the question really matters. To get the effective answer, you need to ask the correct method. Of course, you're asking in plain English, but the way you ask really matters, right? So here you can see find the bug in the following code piece. Then you can enter the code. Then you can see ChatGPT going to give explanation, and it's going to fix the code and it's going to give the answer, right? Then without ChatGPT, what we have? We had the Stack Overflow, where we have to search through the Stack Overflow and figure it out the answer. Sometimes it have the exact answer. Sometimes we need to see similar answers and figure it out the answer. So based on the complexity, it could again take 1 day or 1 week based on the complexity to fix the bug. So now you can see we don't need to go to Stack Overflow. We can directly ask ChatGPT to solve that problem, the code block. So remember here, you do not like put your entire solution, just that code block, like a section of the code, because ChatGPT doesn't have a compiler to compile on Python or C#, but it's just going to analyze the code syntax and the code parameters. And based on that, it's going to give a suggestion, right? A correction. So a general way that we used to have is just Google it or go to Stack Overflow or ask a friend. So these are the 3 options that developers can have before ChatGPT to fix that. So now you have an additional tool to fix that problem where you can ask ChatGPT to fix that problem. So again, developer productivity can be improved. You can see you can improve the developer productivity really well. So that's why you can use the ChatGPT as a developer. So then also you can use ChatGPT to write code, right? So again, do not ask to write code about ChatGPT or like that, something crazy like that. It's just you can ask the ChatGPT to write certain functionality, certain algorithm, certain logic. You can ask, right? Do not ask to write a mobile app like Uber or something like that. Just a certain functionality, certain section of the code you can ask. Then ChatGPT can ultimately do that, right? So you need to ask the correct question. So that's why it's called prompt engineering. So where you ask matters. So now over the years, we have practiced how to ask question from Google, right? Keywords. We are not asked. So you know, by practice now we know how to search Google in a much more effective way than it used to be. So we know like some keywords we have to add, some kind of terms we have to add to get the information. So likewise, ChatGPT also have its own kind of a methodology when you ask these questions. So when you properly ask that question in a certain order, then you can get the best answer from ChatGPT. So that is what you need to practice to get best out of ChatGPT, right? So then here you can see an example. I will show another use case, right? ChatGPT to ask the terminal to create a tic-tac-toe game. So you can ask ChatGPT to write tic-tac-toe game. Then ChatGPT itself can write that code. So we can ask a question like this. There's a question about asking the better question will allow ChatGPT to learn. Yeah. So that's a normal thing in the AI tool. So if you ask those, then it become improved. So then there's ethical side and regulation that OpenAI founder have to go into Congress and ask the questions as well. That's a separate regulation kind of a set of rules and regulations. But what we are discussing is how we can use ChatGPT at the current version for our day-to-day work to be effective. Because you can compare person using ChatGPT and you can compare person not using ChatGPT. So person using ChatGPT can do more work against the person not using ChatGPT or any AI tool. So that's what we need to look at, because if the industry is moving into different technologies, like before Google and person who are not using Google, you can compare, right? So person who are not using a search engine versus person who are using a search engine. So likewise now these these language models are becoming the norm in that industry. So person who are using AI tool and person who are not using a AI tool, then you can see who's getting more productive out of it. So if majority of the people are adapting it and using it and accepting it, then that's become a industry standard. So you can see all the technology releases in past decade and past years. That's a really good example for that. So if a majority of people doesn't want it, not use it, then that become a that people are not going to use that technology anymore. So that's common for any technology. So ChatGPT at the moment, majority people are using for their day-to-day work to improve the productivity at their industry. So because of that, you can see you can use the ChatGPT effectively in the industry, but there could be new tool or new way that in coming years, then we are going to talk about that as well. But at the moment, standards become ChatGPT and the Google Bard. So later we are going to have a session about the Google Bard as well. So those are become industry standard to connect with these tools. And then we need to learn about that to become tech savvy and use this in the industry, because you can see it can use in IT industry. Then I will show examples in other industries as well. So here you can see you can ask to create a code in ChatGPT, and this is how prompt look like. Write a complete Python code to play a terminal-based game, tic-tac-toe, and write to a file called t.py, right? So here you can see you can ask to generate the code, then it will generate this code for you, right? It will generate this code for you, right? So there's a question about ChatGPT cannot reason. Yeah, because reasoning and identifying and knowing the current the position or the current status is a general AI, and it's a different concept in AI. Still they didn't put that because that can leverage to pretty bad things. That is what that happened in a couple of years ago. Microsoft did a similar project. That is what happened in. So it went to a lot of negative things and it tried to learn from that. So that's why I mentioned when they are creating ChatGPT, they put in this initial rule set to not to go into those areas, because they only focus on that, because language model and any AI tool can go into these areas and go into this completely different level. Because if the language model learn something unwanted, then you try to provide answers from that kind of things as well. So that's why you can see clearly how effectively ChatGPT going to work in these areas. So you can ask ChatGPT to get this code. Then also you can see once you get the game code, you can ask ChatGPT to play the game as well. So you can ask the ChatGPT to create the game, as well as you can play the game against ChatGPT as well. So that is dynamic kind of a prompting where we can ask continuous set of instructions. So first task one, so our work, we have to do task one, task two, task three. So we can ask all these tasks from ChatGPT, continuous tasks like a one task. So ChatGPT have this different chat window. So within the chat window itself, you can see we can ask this question and we can have the conversation. So here you can see we have this new chat. Then we can ask this as a conversation, right? So it's going to have the part of the conversation we can have, and we can ask this question as a chain set of questions. So here now we can play the game that is written by ChatGPT as well. Then this is what ChatGPT become really popular on, explain things. Because let's say you are at your domain, you have little bit advanced technical or topic within your domain. So you need to have a clear explanation about that. So traditionally what we do is we go to Google and we get to the explanation. Sometimes you get a book, or sometimes you get a research paper or journal with that information. So that is for average people without in that industry is a lot of information or a lot of technical knowledge, right? So in that industry, any industry, so then it becomes a little bit difficult to understand. So that's why ChatGPT can avoid that. you can put any complex thing, you can ask any complex thing, you can simplify from ChatGPT. How? So you can see how. So here you can see, you can first ask the simple explanation like this. Explain the header format of IPv6. So you will get the simple explanation, the general explanation. So in the internet also, Google, you will get the similar explanation like this. So that is the step one. So you can get this exact information, right? So then what ChatGPT can do best is this. Explain like I'm 5. Explain like I'm 5. That means ask the question again to explain me the same thing like I'm 5. Like you are teaching the same thing for a kid, right? So let's say you are want to teach a technical concept or anything for your kid. Then your explanation method is different, right? The way you explain the thing for a kid is completely different than you are explaining for your colleague. Your language, where the language you are using is completely different. So that is what exactly this AI model is doing. So it have a large language model. Is try to do the explanation in a same way like we are doing for a kid. We have to simplify our language to explain it, right? So that is what this AI model is doing exactly. So it have the knowledge part of the exact knowledge, but the explanation, it becomes like you are teaching for a small kid. So you can see, you can add explain like I'm 5. Then you can see this is example. What are wormholes? Explain like I'm 5, right? This is just a keyword. Wormhole is just a one keyword. It could be millions and millions of keywords in your industry. Then you can use explain like I'm 5. 5 is again an example. That means 5-year-old. It could be 10-year-old. If you want a little bit more like advanced explanation, you can have 10-year-old, 20-year-old, even like same year, right? So likewise, 5 is again considered as an age, right? So that's why you can see wormholes are like a tunnel that connect to different places in space. So you can see that's how you teach a kid, right? So that's why any complex scenario you can have. Let's say you have a legal contract, right? So legal contracts are, by default, only lawyers can read very well, but anyone who are not lawyers have to deal with these contracts. But it's a technical domain in the law section. So again, you can put the legal contract and ask to explain it like I'm a 5. Then it's going to explain goods and bads, simplify that. Because what ChatGPT does is understand the language and do the explanation, right? That is what language model does. So if let's say you're asking a lawyer to say that for person who are not a law specialist, so the lawyer need to simplify the thing and explain that. So that's what ChatGPT does. It can learn and it can explain the thing in a different ways, different formats. So this is a one way. So any industry that you are in, you have really advanced topics. Really advanced knowledge areas. So if you use Google, you will get the same information, right? You don't get the simple information. So that's why you can use like this, explain like I'm a 5. So that is a basic explanation you can get. So that is a really good kind of a use case for ChatGPT, right? That is a really good use case that we can use for ChatGPT because it can explain the things in a much more general or simplified manner. So if you are completely new into that topic, you can get that. By Google it, you can never get that. So why? Because if you Google it, what are wormhole, explain like a 5, there need to be a website article to get this, right? If there's not a website article with this information, you never get that. So that is the beauty of ChatGPT. Even you can argue Google Bard because both are language model applications. So Google Bard also you can get the same thing. So we can argue what is the best, either ChatGPT or versus Google Bard. But these tools have something that Google doesn't provide because Google, to get this information, there need to be a website. Someone need to create the website and host the website to get that. It cannot generate. But here we have generative AI. So it's generating something that is not there anywhere. So what you get is a unique kind of a writing that is not there in any article or anything anywhere in the world, right? If you Google it, the same thing, you cannot find it in any article. It's not getting from any content, any book or any note. It's created on the go with the generative AI. That is a really best feature on this large language model, which is used in both ChatGPT and Google Bard, right? So that is like we are explaining the things for a kid. technical things, that is what ChatGPT really good at. You can use, like, let's say every day we have to work with a lot of agreements and things like that. Any industry, everyone have to work with a lot of technical agreements, but only lawyers are really good with that. So what we can do is you can copy the agreement and explain it in a simple format as a summary, like I need a 10 sentence summary, and explain like I'm fine. Then you will get that contract in a simple format. So you don't need to consult a lawyer to ask what it's about. Then you can ask the ChatGPT to simplify that. So you can see there are a lot of complex things, because there's not a single article on the web or single content on the book, right? Because ChatGPT can on the fly generate the language. It's generating this content. That's why we call this as generative AI. So all these AI tools nowadays can generate images, generate videos, generate audios, and generate content. So these are not there any other place, right? You can Google it and see. It's not there in the Google or website. Some things are, some general information might be there, but not all the things. So that is why these AI tools are getting popular. You will get a unique thing every time you try. Then you can explain in a particular style. You can see, explain about HTTP stack, cowboy from a old western. Then you can even ask for a different particular style. Then it's going to explain that in that particular style as well. Then you can get ideas about AI art, decoration, party themes, like that. And you can specify the age. Here you can specify the age as well. So you can see example prompt in that. Here, give me a party idea about the birthday party for 29-year-old. So then you can see, specify the age, then you get the idea. So it can generate ideas. It can generate concepts. So that's why ChatGPT is impacting a lot of creative industries. Traditionally, IT tools or software doesn't impact creative industries. It's only impact a lot of logical, like programming, software, those kind of industries. But ChatGPT is impacting a lot of creative industries into graphic designing, creative writing, script writing, lyrics, music writing, everything. So a lot of creative things is impacting. So that is why this open up a completely new type of creativity, because let's say you want to write a song. So you cannot copy someone else's songs and then use that. There's a copyright law and things, right? But ChatGPT can write a song for you. It is unique. So I'll show example. So here you can see, so you can ask ChatGPT. I just tried a couple of minutes ago. So you can ask ChatGPT, right? Write a song about San Francisco. So then you can see generate the song. I can also regenerate. Then you can see it's going to generate a song, which is unique song. You can copy and paste and see whether there's a copyright issue in this song. It will generate a song about San Francisco with all the features, and also you can generate musical notes for this song as well, right? So you can see how we can do that. Let's compare this with the experienced songwriter. Even experienced songwriter cannot do that within a couple of seconds. At least, let's say a really experienced songwriter, it could take 1 day. But ChatGPT can do that just by clicking within a couple of milliseconds. This is now third different song. So as you can see, 3 songs identical, like different from one another. Then you can try this with the copyright tool and see whether there's a music actual song is copied from or not, right? That's why it can impact the creative industry, because this generation is a unique. It's like actual musician generate, right? You can check with the copywriting tool and see whether this is written by anyone else. Because if you search Google, you will get only from existing song in the Google with the article. So there's no other tool that can do that. But at the moment now we have Google, but 2 tools we have same capabilities. So you can see it can generate new content, new materials on the fly, and it's unique for your question, unique for you, right? Like that. So you can see how uniquely it's going to generate, and within a couple of seconds, right? So it can write code, it can write songs, it can write poem, everything, right? So you can ask a lot of things to generate into that, right? So let me go back to the slide. So here you can see get idea for AI art, decoration, and themes. Also, you can find answers for homework and assignments. So this is there's ethical side in that. where assignments like for students, university students, there's a challenge now. Some universities may be doing some like banning use of ChatGPT for academic purpose. Why? Because you can create assignment with unique answers that cannot not copied from anyone else. You will get a unique answer for this, right? Right. What are the best use cases that use for ChatGPT? What are so you can explain your experience. So here you can see different use cases. So here you can see you can ask ChatGPT explain in a tabular form like that. Then it's going to explain and it can do the entire university homework. Now even school kids are using ChatGPT for their homework like that, right? So you can see in the academic side, there's a little bit ethical side, because as a student, you have to learn in those things, but that's where some guidance are coming in. Yeah, there's a question limited up to 2021. That's why I mentioned the current beta version. They are paying. They are working on the connectivity to the internet. So the current beta version or the paid version, you can get this beta feature where you can access the internet and get the update. So you can ask to search the internet and get the content from that. So it's available in the paid version as a beta feature where you can search. It's available with the live information that is free, right? Yeah. So you can solve that problem as well. So that's why AI tools getting even more update day by day. So ChatGPT used to write music. So you can write music from ChatGPT because it can create a unique song for your question, for your scenario. So what you are explaining, it can generate the music and song. Not only the words, it can also generate the notes, musical notes as well. So here you can see, if you are familiar with the musical instruments, you can play the song as well. So now there are AI projects that we can generate music as well. There are AI projects that we can generate art, AI art. Then you have seen some videos that can mimic videos as well. But video is still a long way ahead, because video containing a lot of information. Ultimately, we will get there, but video is a lot of images and a lot of content. But text is the easiest one to get started. Then the second phase is the images. So now you can see a lot of image generation. Then the third phase would be the music and audio. Last phase would be the videos, and then the 3D simulations and 3D modeling, because both videos and 3D content require a lot of data points. Let's say a word is one character, then it's multiplied 20 times, you get the image, multiply 300, 400 times, only we get 1 second of video. Then that is multiplied, you get a 3D kind of a simulation. So that require a lot of training, where we need a supercomputer level computation to create the model as well. So that's why those are still in the early stage, where we cannot see much of the video generations and the 3D or audio generation. But you can see nowadays image generation tools as well, where we can get the image. Then use ChatGPT for translation as well. So here you can see how do you say where is the bus stop in Spanish. So then you can see you get the translation as well as explanation. So you get a lot of things. So again, it can compete with Google Translate as well. It can compete with the Google Translate as well, where it can provide the explanation and a little bit more information as well, right? So likewise, so you can see here, it can provide this translation as well, right? Okay, so then extract data from the text. So this is for the mostly for the BI engineers, data engineers and the BI business analysts, where you can get a lot of insights and information from that, right? Okay, right. So that is I show example, right? So you can get a lot of information on that. So we have, let's say, you can get this kind of a text, and you need to extract this kind of a data set, right? So you can do extract data sets. It is used in the data engineering and business intelligence, right? Data engineering and business intelligence, that we can get leverage a lot of these features in our day-to-day work for data engineers and business intelligence, right? Okay, so this is another use case, and grading also possible. So ChatGPT can create the assignment as well as grade the assignments as well. So again, you have ethical side here for academic people like lecturers or teachers. There's ethical side where they can put assessment and ask to grade ChatGPT. So ChatGPT will grade the answer, right? Uh, right. And also solve math question. So this is also a really good kind of use case. Here, I'm not explaining like just a simple math, but let's say you are working on the highly advanced mathematical area industry. You have pure mathematics or advanced calculus, things like that. Again, you can explain things and get a simple explanation. And here you can solve that and ask the explanation. So likewise, math is used in a lot of industries where we can get this math solved like from ChatGPT. There's a question about share the presentation. We will be sharing the session recording, second recording containing all the presentation materials. So you can get that from that as well. So we'll be sharing the Meetup recording. So here you can see we can ask to solve the question, this mathematical question, equation, and you get the answer. Then here you can see show your work. Then you will get the steps, right? Like this. So how you exactly solve, right? It's not just the answer. You can, because you can get a mathematical answer. There are a lot of tools nowadays. You can just enter formulas and get the answer. But you can see ChatGPT not only giving the mathematical answer, but all the steps, explanation. And you can also ask, explain the specific line or even more in depth, right? Let's say it's advanced calculus or more advanced mathematics. Then you can ask more advanced, like explain this specific scenario, this specific mathematical question in that, right? Like this. So it can solve a lot of these mathematical questions and mathematical formulas like that. So this is a one AI project that we are working on at the moment. So this is like we can enter a web article or PDF document, and it can analyze and ask questions on the PDF document. So like it's within the particular scope, like you can have, let's say, a book or a certain contract, which is 1,000 page, then you can ask question on that particular document. So likewise, now there are a lot of use cases and projects are coming on with the ChatGPT, and then you can get a lot of these capabilities built in into that, right? So now I will go into the second part of the session, how this kind of a tool is created, what are the technologies behind the scene, right? So here prompt engineering is one part where that is the one of the key technology that used at the moment. So prompt engineering talk about how this kind of a tool is created and what are the things, the building blocks to create this kind of a tool. So understand ins and outs of a tool like this ChatGPT. We need to know that we discuss use cases like scenarios, as well as we need to know what's underneath, how this tool is created, what are the technologies used. Of course, not the entire source code because that is not open source at the moment, but what kind of building blocks are used to create a software like ChatGPT. So we need to know how we can do that, right? There's a question where I get the recording of the file session. I will share in the Meetup group and you cannot ask that in ChatGPT. Yeah. That's right. So there are things still you cannot ask in the ChatGPT. Right. So ChatGPT is, you can see, large language model. So here the prompt, that means what you ask, right? What you ask from the ChatGPT really matters. So here you can see how it's going to create. So this is again AI software. So the fundamentals for AI software is Python, then machine learning frameworks and deep learning frameworks. And here we have another framework called NLP, natural language processing. So natural language processing is a concept in AI that we can use to get capabilities of actual language into AI concepts, right? So AI can mimic image recognition. So you know what AI can do a lot of areas at the moment. Vast majority knows that GPT, Google Bart, and AI generation, like image generation. But AI can do a whole lot of things. It's used in healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, a lot of industries. It used even stock market. Just before ChatGPT, it used in all these industries. But it's not that much talk about that because ChatGPT becoming like a key technology that make a lot of awareness about AI tool. But before ChatGPT, there are a lot of use cases and there are a lot of projects, especially enterprise level in healthcare. We can use AI to predict certain medicines. It used to detect skin cancer, things like that. So ChatGPT is just a one use case and one tool, but there are many possibilities and many tools. Even before ChatGPT, there are a lot of AI tools. And also, you know, like all your popular social media platforms, they use AI, like LinkedIn, YouTube for recommending videos, recommending Netflix to recommend movies. It use AI. So AI is all over the place, and it was there even before ChatGPT. But with ChatGPT now, a whole new set of AI tools going to get more popularity. That's the only difference in that. So the prompt is like how you can ask a certain question from a bot or ChatGPT, like chatbot. So then here you can see how you can ask a certain question and how you can explain a certain scenario. So ChatGPT is created in a way that you can ask a question and answer. So you cannot ask, hello, how are you from ChatGPT because it's not a chatbot. So, you know, most of the bots that we use nowadays earlier is chatbots. Like we have different bots in banking websites and other customer facing websites. So where we can ask these questions and we can ask different kind of questions from that, right? So ChatGPT is not like that. It has created to ask question and answers, right? Okay. So that is another a kind of a way that ChatGPT is created. Then basic prompting. Another key feature in the ChatGPT is text summarization. So it will provide the summarized information, right? Summarized information is how it can be summarized. So, you know, like all the information, let's say you want to go to internet and search for a certain knowledge topic, you will get a lot of articles. So previously I show IPv6, like you can ask ChatGPT, but if you go to the official search about IPv6, if you go to Wikipedia, it will go to the Wikipedia and you can see, you will get a lot of information, right? This is how we are getting the information nowadays before ChatGPT. So what ChatGPT does is text summarization. That is again NLP capability to summarize this, because here you can see a lot of technical words. Even a person who this is IT networking topic, even person who know IT networking, this could be confusing, right? There are a lot of even more depth technical terminologies are provided here. So that's why ChatGPT can address that bigger problem where it can simplify and summarize the things. So text summarization is a feature that used in NLP, natural language processing, right? So that's why it use that text summarization feature. So here you can see some examples of the text summarization that is used in here. Right. Information extraction is another kind of a key feature. Information extraction, where we can extract certain information from that, right? So where we have a certain information. So let's say again IPv6. So you can see we can ask ChatGPT explain IPv6 or summarize IPv6. Summary about IPv6, right? Summary about IPv6. We can ask the summary, right? So then it's provide us a summary, provide summary about IPv6, right? Right. So then you can see it's giving a more summarized kind of a view, where compared to the Wikipedia article, you can see explanation in summarized format. And also we can even simplify it, like explain like IM5, then explain like IM5, you can use that like this. So here you can see it's just summarized into that, right? Then you can ask more question like explain number 1, right? Right. Explain number 1 like IM5. So now it is generated from ChatGPT. Now we are again asking question that is generated from ChatGPT, which is number 1. Then we are asking explain number 1 like IM5. Then you can see Let's say you have a lot of friends that they want to can live with the label. IPv4 can only give you 32 friends. IPv6 can give you 128 friends, right? So you can see complex networking topics can be simplified like you are teaching a small children. So likewise, you can see ChatGPT have this summarizing capability. So it can summarize a lot of complex things into more simplified format, right? It can summarize more complex things into a simplified format where ChatGPT can provide a lot of capabilities in that. So you can see how we can leverage ChatGPT in your environments, in your work environments, and how you can productively use, right? How we can productively use ChatGPT in your work environment. So there are a lot of use cases within the different industries. And also we can see how prompt engineering, that is what we distract, where information extraction, how you can extract certain information from here, how we can get that information extraction from the NLP task, right? So how we can extract certain information and how the language model further optimize that extraction. So you can see the baseline for the IPv6 still ChatGPT can also get from this Wikipedia article, because this is a correct information. It's not providing any false information. So the explanation for IPv6 getting from the Wikipedia correct, giving a correct definition. But what ChatGPT does is, you can see here, explain one like kind of file. So this is, you cannot find in internet or anywhere else in Google. You can get a summarized version. You can ask a proposal about this. You can ask an article about this. You can ask to create a Facebook post about this. You can ask to create Instagram post about this. You can ask to you can see create a let's say LinkedIn, let's say YouTube video, create a YouTube script, right, about IPv6. So now you get the LinkedIn video script, right? You can create a movie script. Like now you can ask to create a YouTube script. Now based on the script, you can record a video and you can post in YouTube, right? You can get a title and you can get the opening shot. And then host is saying about IPv6, like animated scene, host, then illustration, like that. So IPv6 is just a keyword. Imagine you have millions and millions of keywords that we can ask. That's why the ChatGPT is really popular and getting more dynamic kind of answer for your industry, for your work, for your day-to-day life, day-to-day work, right? So here I just give explanation in the in terms of IPv6. You can compare that with the Wikipedia article, what we get usually like this. Then now you can see we can now write a article about IPv6. We can learn about IPv6. We can create a post about IPv6. We can create a YouTube video about IPv6. Even we can ask a song about IPv6, right? So that's why ChatGPT become more popular, because of the type of things we can do with the same knowledge. So it's the same knowledge about IPv6, but it can be converted into entirely different things. You can ask to create a social media post if you are a digital marketer. You want to promote networking related activities in your social media marketing. So you can ask the social media post about IPv6. Create a write-up about social media post, right? Media post about, create a social media post about IPv6, right? So likewise, you can see the same topic, how you can leverage, right? So you can see even with the icons, right? You will get, because social media, you need to like highlight icons. So you will get all these things. So it's the same topic you can see for digital marketing, explanation, project proposal, like that. Just one keyword. So in Google, you can never do that. You can get the explanation, but you can never get all these things, right? So that's why just IPv6 I get as example, but can apply for millions and millions of topics that you can leverage every day, because without ChatGPT, we have to come up with all these things. We have to be creative and we have to take a lot of time to do that. But now you can get. So I'm not saying that entirely copy the answer and entirely use it. Maybe you can be more creative. You can get this and you can like get the ideas that provided from the ChatGPT, and you can a bit more creative and you can update your solution. So I'm not saying like even though we get all the answers from ChatGPT just copy everything you get and use that. So, but what I'm saying is get that a new kind of knowledge or the ways, creative ways that you can get these answers, and then you can further enhance with your answers. So that's why it can be improved your overall productivity. So here you can see the same topic we get at a social media post, we get as a YouTube script, we get as a explanation like time 5, we get as a summary, even we can get as a project proposal that we can write to the internet organization team to provide as a research, or we can ask as a research topics. So anything you can ask like this. So that is why it's going to be a lot of important coming in. A lot of people who are using it having a lot of leverage and features, a lot of advantage versus people are not using the ChatGPT or Google part. Google part also can provide a similar kind of answer. So I'm not promoting the software. I'm just showing what are the things that is capable. So I'm just showing what are the things that is possible. So you can argue like before Google and with Google and without Google. So like that with ChatGPT or generative AI tools and without ChatGPT generative AI tools, you can compare and you can see what is possible and what is not. And of course, the regulations and rules and regulations will follow. There will be a lot of rules and regulations. You have seen recently a lot of governments are talking about that. So they'll be followed, but still we can use this for our day-to-day work, especially for professionals. So I'm not saying to use it for students and like that, because students can use it, trying to use it for assignments and things like that. It's not good practice to do that. But for professionals, not like that. They can improve the productivity of their work and they can do more things with the short amount of time. So information extraction also a part of that. It's going to extract certain key points where it's going to extract these particular key points and it's going to provide information and it's going to answer from that, right? So question answering is another part, right? So now we go to the last part of the session. So the building blocks. So this is one building blocks that this kind of tools are using. So ChatGPT is using tools like NLTK framework. These are the Python AI frameworks that is building blocks for AI tools, because this ChatGPT is an AI tool that use a language model. So these are some of the building blocks in the more technical side, because this is now the last part of the session. So we are discussing the more technical side. Right. There's a question like these jobs will be replaced. So it's like this. I'm not saying like it's going to replace. So what AI does is like it's provided as a supporting tool, because ChatGPT cannot prescribe medicine, right? It doesn't have the doctor license. It doesn't have the engineer license or the lawyer license. So it cannot prescribe medicine or things like that. So it's not going to replace, right? But it's going to use as a supporting tool. But ultimately, the number of people could be reduced. So that you can argue as could be replacing, because it's not going to replace all together, but number of people, let's say we need 10% for the job. Now we only need 8%. So that number could be reduced. So that happened with all these industrial changes. You can see from the past to now that happened, but it's not going to change the core profession, but it's improved over the time, right? So typewriter is moved to digital computing. Now we have cloud computing. So then internet era, we now have the cloud and the AI tools like that. So number of people needed could be reduced, but entire profession will not go on, because ChatGPT is trying to prescribe medicine, then it will be a huge problem. So that never going to happen, but it's going to be a supporting tool. Let's say you can ask about a disease, then what is the symptoms and what kind of remedies can have. Then you can compare with the doctor terms, and doctors can also use. There is still without ChatGPT, still doctors are using a lot of AI solutions. There are a lot of AI solutions for healthcare. You can research AI tools for healthcare. Then you will get a lot of solutions. So there are a lot of chat conversational applications for healthcare. For example, I will give example. So let's say you call hospital with the emergency. So there's AI analysis tool that can detect what kind of symptoms or what kind of critical illness you have. So let's say I'm having a stomach ache and I call the hospital. Then your voice tone is different when you have a stomach ache. Then you have a heart attack and you call the hospital. Then your tone is different for a heart attack. Then the hospital get a notification based on your initial symptoms from the voice. Then let's say a patient coming with a heart attack. Then the emergency level for that patient need to be higher than a patient coming from a stomachache. So likewise, these kind of solutions are now running in hospitals, right? So these are AI solutions. Not everything is ChatGPT. There are a lot of variations of AI solution can be implemented. So these solutions are running in hospitals. So where by calling patient can call the hospital, then hospital can prepare the patient because critical illnesses, 1 second, 1 minute is life saving. So it can save a life, right? Because otherwise, once you go to the hospital again, you have to prepare, fill some forms, and again there's a delay. So now with that AI tool, it can detect initial symptoms. It's not going to prescribe medicine for heart attack or anything, but it can give suggestions. So then hospital can prepare patient for emergency and directly get into the emergency room, not even to a ward. So likewise, there are a lot of AI tools for these use cases. So that's what AI does. It improves the life and the overall impact is higher. But it's not going to replace all the things overnight, but number of people needed can be reduced with the there are a lot of automation tools. So number of people need for the task can be reduced. So especially people are doing manual work can be reduced where let's say a person every day go to the office, go to the certain website, download the content, create a report, and post the social media. Again, next day, go to the office, do the same thing. So that kind of repetitive work can be replaced with the automation. So those kind of things will be impactive, but if you have the correct skill set, correct knowledge, you cannot be replaced because there was a saying like when robots are building and then robot engineers we needed to build robots, right? Maintain robots, so like that. So likewise, there'll be competitors and like competitive technologies coming in, but it's not going to replace everything, but it's going to be supportive overall. So we need to keep up to date with the technology updates and the technology changes. So because in 5 years ago, we didn't talk about ChatGPT, right? But now we are talking. And another 5 years, we might again not talk about ChatGPT, but there'll be another technology that's going to be even more faster or effective for our day-to-day life, right? So that is how the technology is moving. It's moving really fast. And in California State and San Francisco Silicon Valley is 100x, 200x faster with all this new innovation. So every year, a lot of innovation coming in is going to change all over the world. So that is why we have to keep up to date with these new technologies. So the final part is about technology itself, what kind of technology is used. So if you are new to technology or IT or AI, data science, just keep remember of these terminologies. Of course, you can ask ChatGPT more about this. So one is this NLTK framework, that is a natural language toolkit. I will share the official site as well. This is the official site, nltk.org, right? Right. So this technology is used, NLTK. It's a natural language toolkit. That is a really excellent technology to get started with a language feature. So I'm not saying ChatGPT only use this. It just some part of this use that, but other parts they use a lot of custom tools and custom AI capabilities. So you can see NLTK can analyze certain text classification. We can, let's say, analyze a Twitter statement, and we can say whether that is a good Twitter statement or bad sentiment. So we can analyze that. Right. That's a question. So if you are a college counselor or engineering student, what do you recommend besides learning ChatGPT, the engineering career path concerned? So there's for the engineering student. So a lot of engineering student. So I will ask this answer this question. So engineering discipline, like especially a lot of engineering disciplines are updated with the technology. So they can up to date with the lot of technology frameworks and technology solution. Like if they are doing electronic engineering and things like that, then you can use a lot of these AI tools and digital tools. But civil engineering and all this, there are limited number of tools. But a lot of these technologies now up to date with the different softwares and technology. So, but I can recommend these. You can search. So it's not only ChatGPT, but there are a lot of other AI tools. For example, I will give example like, let's say, civil engineer. So there are CAD tools, a lot of advanced CAD tools from Autodesk that can generate or that can create really advanced architectural patterns, architectural designs, things like that. So then I shouldn't need to update about these technology trends without just manually doing that or using standard softwares. They have to use advanced softwares. Then because of this AI revolution, so now even all other companies using AI capabilities. So let's say a CAD drawing tool like Autodesk. So Autodesk also now using AI capabilities within their toolset. So likewise, students need to update about this path, and then we need to update because they have to prepare for next 3 to 5 years, right? So that's why you need to look at the career path and path like that. You can write to us for any other questions and things like that. I will answer those questions as well, right? So this is the technology NLTK framework. That's the one that using here. You can use these kind of commands to install that. So where you can easily install this framework. This is mostly technical part where this is how this kind of tools are used. So you can see it's a quite a bigger industry. AI itself is a bigger industry, but a broader industry is the IT, information technology. But within the AI, we have a lot of use cases and scenarios. So ChatGPT is just a one tool. And if you look at the company, which is OpenAI, ChatGPT is not their only product. They do a lot of other things, right? ChatGPT is just their one product. They have 22 different, 10 to 20 different products as well. So ChatGPT is just one product, but because of the popularity, more people know about ChatGPT. But if I like even have the sessions like OpenAI or NLTK framework, you might not know. So that's why more people know about ChatGPT. But remember, there's more things to know, more things to learn than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is just a one tool. But one tool can do a lot of things, and imagine how much things that we can do with our learning and adding all these capabilities that we have in AI nowadays. So AI research is really powerful. Academic side, a lot of universities encouraged to go for AI PhDs with a lot of frameworks and a lot of advancement in the AI algorithms and machine learning and deep learning frameworks. And then academic side is working on that area. Then the industry side, there are a lot of frameworks, there are a lot of capabilities adding into these softwares. So softwares we are using every day now have AI capabilities. So that's why it's a quite a broader area that we can have. But here in this today's session, we only discussed about ChatGPT, and we started with how to get started with ChatGPT, and then we finalized with the technology tools, the technology side of things, right? You can see how effectively we can use ChatGPT and how we can leverage these use cases as well as the technology aspects. And also, I managed to answer some of the questions, not all the questions, because I have to cover the session as well. So now I open up for the Q&A session. So you can ask questions in the chat box. So you can answer almost all the questions. I will try to answer. So you can ask any Q&A before we finalize the session. You can ask any question and answer, further question and answer that you have, you can ask now. Right, so I will also put our email address, so you can write to us. You can find our email address in the Meetup page as well. So we have discussed today about ChatGPT's use cases and what we can do, like what are the things that we can apply, right? That. Yeah, so you can, yeah, presentation, I share the recording. So you can individually write to us to ask the presentation. I can share as a PDF. Just write individually email if you need the presentation slides. Otherwise, everyone will get the video recording where we share in the Meetup page. You can also write to us. I have shared on the Meetup page, and also I will share the chat as well, email address. You can write to us. So we provide training consulting supports on the AI solutions, AI training and consulting in the state, right? MEP, Microsoft MEP, I was originally a DirectX XNA MEP. Yeah, this is my email address. I just put that. and this is the LinkedIn page. So I was originally a Microsoft DirectX MVP, and now moving into other MVP areas in Microsoft. So I work closely with Microsoft with a lot of technology stack, now supporting with OpenAI Microsoft toolset as well. But here I'm not, it's not Microsoft specific session we did. It's just general about ChatGPT that we had. So in coming sessions, we are planning to have a Microsoft specific toolset that they have released, and as well as other sessions. And also we try to bring other speakers also in coming days as well, right? Yeah, so you can write to us regarding the presentation slide, then we'll share the slide deck in the PDF format. And we will also share the meeting recording as well. If you have any further question, you can write to us as well regarding any question, anything. And we'll be sharing the Meetup recording in the Meetup page. I think you can join from the Meetup page. You can get it from there. So any further specific question you can have. So thank you all for joining the today's session, and hope to see you again soon in a session like this. Thank you.